Hello everyone, a very warm welcome on this super gray and rainy day. As you can tell from the title, I have a small book haul to share with you guys today. It's not a very big one. I decided to post this video because I very recently posted a bookshelf tour and book collection video of every book I own and where it sits on my shelves, but October happens to be my birthday month, and so throughout the month I accumulated a few books from friends and family, and the last ones arrived just after I filmed this. So I never included any of the birthday books in that video because since the intention was to give you a complete book collection overview, it felt silly to have all of the books but two in that video. So I have 5 books to share with you guys, 5 final books that you haven't yet seen and that are finally going up on my shelves after this. We're just going to take them in the order that I got them and get started. Let's go. The first book was from my best friend. Hers and I's birthdays are the days after each other, so for years now we've had this tradition where we go to a bookstore, pick out a book we want, and then we buy the book of their choice. And this year, my choice was Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata. This is the English translation of the original Japanese. I'm sure that you've seen it, heard of it, maybe even read it. I feel like it's been everywhere for a while now. But when I first heard of it, I read the back and I immediately put it on my TBR. I don't know all that much about it though. I really don't. All I know is that based on my impression of the back, the main character seems really relatable and it's supposed to be really funny. That's all I know. I know nothing else, but I have really high hopes. People seem to really enjoy it. It's a very short book, so I'll probably get through this in a couple of hours. I figure it could be a really good pick-me-up on one of these gray and super rainy days. It's supposed to be quirky, hilarious, totally unpredictable. I feel like I'll have fun reading this. So yeah, a really nice, bright, colorful book, potentially full of good humor, that I'm really excited to finally get to see what the hype is about. I have very high hopes for this. Very excited for this one. The second book that I have here is actually a book I treated myself to because it was a really good deal. So I bought this one myself, but for barely anything at all. It felt like it would be criminal to not pick it up. If you watched my newbie video, then you'll know that among the genres that I don't really gravitate towards is science fiction. I'm also a little bit when it comes to classics, so naturally I picked up a sci-fi classic. This book I also know nothing about. I think I have the general gist in that there's some sort of scientist who's working on invisibility and he figures it out but can't reverse it, or it goes wrong or something like that. I'm really not entirely sure what I have in store for me with this. I'm a little scared. But it's also a very small book. I figure if I'm going to delve into a classic that is also science fiction, it should be a small one. If you have read it, maybe you could give me your impressions in the comments. Let me know what you thought of it, because I really don't know what I'm getting myself into with this one. I have no clue. So this is me heading out of my comfort zone a little bit. But for a good price, and it doesn't feel too risky. But what do I know? I mean, nothing. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. I figure it's worth a try. I'll get back to you guys on how I feel about this once I've read it. This next one is what I would call a BookTube classic. It was big on BookTube way before it was big on Book Talk. Then it became big on Book Talk, and now I feel like everyone has read it apart from me, so I'm here to right that wrong. It is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. Yes, I know. It's 2023 and I have not read it yet. Revoke my reading license, I know. I actually know very little about this book. Considering how popular it is and how long it's been that popular, I am really surprised that I've managed to avoid every spoiler. I have no spoilers for this at all, and I don't know much about Greek mythology or Greek ancient history either, so I have no idea what this book is about to offer me. All I know is that it's supposed to be Greek mythology or Greek historical fiction, a mix of it or something along those lines, and that people cry. I know that people cry when they read this, and I feel like that'll probably be me, so I actually am really excited about this one though. The excitement that I initially felt all those years ago with this one is back. Once the mood hits for this one, I am going to devour it. Because I will have to wait for the right mood to read it, for sure. And I don't know when that will be, but it's ready. It's here and it's ready for whenever it comes. I am a little scared about the hype because hyped books have let me down in the past. It'll hurt really badly if it's not really great. But yeah, I really have absolutely zero clue what I'm about to walk into, and I'm really excited about it, finally, after all these years. So yeah, The Song of Achilles. I have 2 more books to talk about, and I'm gonna talk about them kind of together because these were the last books that I was waiting for. They came together and they are kind of related. I'm really excited about these ones. For those of you that saw my bookshelf tour and book collection video, you'll know that I'm in the middle of reading The Lord of the Rings. I'm about to start The Return of the King, but you may have noticed that those were the only Tolkien books on my shelves. It is not so anymore, because the last 2 books are Tolkien books. They are The Hobbit and The Silmarillion. And before we go any further, I just need us all to take a moment to collectively appreciate the beauty of these books. I mean, I could stare at them forever. Anyway, technically, if you're going to take on Tolkien, you should probably start with The Hobbit. I did not. I started with The Lord of the Rings, but I'm going to right that wrong because as soon as I finish The Return of the King, The Hobbit is next. Finally going to get to this classic. This is a really, really cool edition because not only is the cover art by Tolkien himself, but the book also contains pictures throughout that are really, really pretty. I've enjoyed just flipping through this, but I know I'm going to enjoy reading it too. I have, of course, seen the movies. I've seen the Lord of the Rings movies so many times at this point that I can't possibly count them. My family and I went and saw the Hobbit movies as they came out in cinemas, and I have the DVDs. So I know the story, but it's still really cool to finally get to the books. Tolkien is, after all, one of the founding fathers, if not the founding father of fantasy as a genre. He's had a huge influence on the genre anyway, and as someone who loves the fantasy genre, who has read much fantasy, and who plans to read much more, it feels wrong not to at least get to Tolkien once. And honestly, I'm a little shocked on myself that I haven't done it earlier, but better late than never, I guess. So yeah, The Hobbit is next up in my Tolkien journey. As for the Silmarillion, I have looked up reading orders of Tolkien's works online, and there are many opinions on the way to do it. Most, as I say, start with The Hobbit and then Lord of the Rings. A lot say to then go to the Silmarillion. Some say don't do that because the Silmarillion is apparently really hard to read. And I don't really know what they mean with that. I know that it's like basically a collection of the stories that are referenced in, for example, Lord of the Rings, stories of the ages before the one we become familiar with in The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. I guess it's really complicated. I'm not really sure, but I'm taking the chance anyway. So the Silmarillion, this beautiful, beautiful book, is gonna follow The Hobbit in my Tolkien journey. I'm going to get to this one afterwards. Will I regret it? Maybe, but you know what? We're gonna take the chance. Also, apparently some of the stories in here are the basis for some of the other books that have later been published. The Fall of Gondolin, or those stories, those books, are apparently briefly brought up here. And so I guess there are spoilers for those in here. I don't mind. But yeah, I figure, why not? You know, you gotta start somewhere. So... And a lot of people say it's fine, it's hard, it's difficult, but if you go into it knowing that and you're ready to look up explanations, then nothing should stop you. So we're gonna take the risk, I think. So yeah, these are the final books that had yet to be accounted for. You're now familiar with every single book I own. I will be trying to find space for these now, somewhere in this mess. So wish me luck. And yeah, that is it. That is it for this video. I probably won't be doing more book hauls for now. I don't plan on buying lots more books right now. And I will be rearranging my bookshelf, possibly at some point, either later this month or maybe next month, which I'll be filming. So I might as well just, if there are new books, I'll point them out then. So yeah, I can now with good conscience sign off. I no longer feel like I'm tricking you. Very dramatic, I know, but c'est moi. With that, I hope you have a happy weekend, and I hope that the book that you're reading is a really, really good one. Bye!